What's up, social fam, social cam, whatever you want to call it? This your boy, Reverend Heights. I'm sitting here on location, actually working a security detail. Uh, but I was sitting here and I thought, I've been doing a show on YouTube about life with Reverend Heights. And I thought I would do the show while I'm here. Sitting here, got a nice little while to go. But what I want to talk about today is that we're about to approach 2014. Now I know the time is next week, but it's right around the corner, and I pray to God that everybody that I know will make it. I pray to God that all my relatives and things will make it to see 2014. And if God bless you and allow you to see 2014, I have a question I would love to ask you. What are you going to do with the new year? See, only one thing that I have learned is that only person can change you is yourself. I'll be honest with you, and I'm talking about myself. I don't want to go into 2014 doing the same thing, living the same way. Even as a minister, I have faults. I have problems. But it's time for me to do something different in my life. It's time for me to start fresh. It's time for me to do some new things in my life. Doing this show is one of the newest things. And I tell you, if you keep checking me out, I'm going to be on different locations. I'm even trying to start a TV show, not a TV show, but a show called The Round Table, where it will be ministers around the table, and we will talk about different issues that's going on around the world and what would they do to change it. And then before the show is over, we're going to have somebody do a little small 5-minute sermonette on something dealing out the Bible. A lot of times when we do the show, there will be things out that we will talk about that will deal with some of the things biblically and in the world. And, the Bible is the way that we learn things. I believe the Bible, to me, is a way to learn about different people in the religious world. Of course, it's always got something talking about God or Jesus in there. But you want to be able to bring up some stuff. So therefore, we'll be talking about some stuff at the round table. I always get nervous when I get on the show because I don't want people to laugh at me. I don't want people to see me and say, mean things, get off the air and all that. But you know what? I just believe that God has gave me boldness to do this. I believe God has given me the ability to do this. And I am going to take everything that I have and do it. Because, you're going to be talked about. You're going to have some haters. Haters drink their juice just like they drink Kool-Aid. But the one thing that I wanted to say is that only person that could change you is yourself when it comes to dealing with life changes. In everybody's life, there's something in your life. If you examine yourself, you need to change. If you got a perfect life, I would love to meet you. But some might think there's nothing wrong with their life. Some might think that they don't need to examine their life. But I know that I do. If I want some things to change in my life, I got to examine some things. I got to take a look at my life and say, what can I change about me? There's some problems in my Christian walk I need to change. In my everyday living, the way as a husband, as a father, as living in my house, whatever it might be. I try my best to be good to people much as I can. because I want the same thing back. I tell people all the time, it bugs me when I say, how you doing? And you don't say anything back. Or I reach to shake your hand and you can't shake my hand. Something's wrong with that. But that's the world that we live in. So we have to examine ourselves and pray and ask God that, God, if you see some things that I need to change, please reveal it to me. And I believe that God will. I believe that he will reveal some things to you. If you don't have a church home, find a church home. Everybody say, well, church can be at home watching TV. No, there are things on TV that they're not going to explain to you, that they're not going to break down for you. And I know one thing that I need to change, and this is as far as my Christian walk, and I'll say it on my show. I need to stop being so lazy. If you can get up, and I'm talking about me, if I can get up at say 7 o'clock to go to work, why can't I do that for the house of the Lord? Why can't I be there? If Sunday school starts at 9:30, why I can't be there? So therefore, I'm saying there are some things that I need to change. I don't want to go into 2014, and I'm telling you, sitting here doing this security detail, a lot of times you could think about some things. Yeah, I got the little thing on my phone, Netflix or whatever, but you still be thinking about some things in your life that you want to change. Because one thing you have to realize, it ain't just you got to think about. You got to think about your children, your wife. I constantly stay on my son. I constantly stay on my daughter. Because sometimes that's what they need. If you're not, that's part of your job as a parent. They will never understand. They will never understand. But that's okay. Because God has put me on this earth to take care of them. And I'm going to tell you something else, is that God put me on this earth for a purpose, for a reason. If you see me looking around, I'm on watch too. I'm watching the property. But God is put me on this earth for a reason. And a lot of times we have so many preachers at our church that a lot of times we don't get to minister a lot. But what I would like to start doing is ministering to a lot of the men in this world. A lot of the men that's out here lost. You know, a lot of these men that they don't get no help sometimes like the women. You don't hear no men's shelters. It's either for the kids or it's for the women. But don't you know that the men need help too? The men need love just like the woman do. You know, so therefore we need to, that's one of ministries that I would love to do, is to look out for our men. You know, a lot of times when our men lose loved ones, they have a lot of times don't have nobody to turn to. If they ain't married or they ain't got no kids, who can they turn to? Because the loved one might be the person that they was turning to. And that's why it's hurting them so bad. Men need counseling. Men need counseling. Men need help. Men need to be carried too. And so I just believe that I want to be able to help go out inside, get some other men, and just go out and minister to the men. And there's nothing wrong with ministering to the women, but I just think we just need to minister to our men in jail and prisons, the men that's on probation can't come out the house, or just the men inside our different cities. I believe that, and I'll say this, every mayor that's a mayor of a city needs a minister to at times counsel them, to ask them for advice, to just have a minister to listen to. And I say to the mayors, if you got a pastor in your city that you know about, do like the president do. The president has a spiritual advisor that will give him, you know, dealing with religious things. He has somebody to come in and talk to him about advising him on religious things And I believe that each local mayor should have something like that if they already don't. Because one thing a mayor needs, a chief needs, and any other high official needs is prayer. It's prayer. Every so often you should have a pastor or a minister come in and cover your city hall, your police department, or whatever. Just have him come in and cover these things. Because at the end of the day, and as I end this, at the end of the day, we all need the Lord. Listen, I didn't get a chance to say Merry Christmas, but I'll tell you, if I don't get back on the show before the new year, have a great new year. Think about some of the things that's said to you. Please leave a comment. Please leave like if you don't. If you don't like it, give me a thumbs down. If you like it, give me a thumbs up, as they say. Let your friends know on Facebook. Like I said, this is just the beginning for me. And my wife will tell you, my mind is always working. And it's not about money. It's not about money. Because I'm going to find a way for money to come to take care of this. But it's not about trying to get my name out there either. It's about trying to uplift the name of the Lord and minister to people. And I say this much. If you have not loved people this year, love the ones. Listen, our bishop, he came up with something, and we used it at my house, as for real, like at the end of the show. It was called Pleasantville, and we said from Christmas Eve to Christmas Day, me, my children, my wife, we had Pleasantville. We couldn't say nothing bad to each other. We couldn't argue. That means that that's love. And that's what we need. We need to start loving one another. We need to start lifting up one another. We need our family members that's not coming to church, give them a call. But don't call them if you ain't going. I'm just keeping it real. I'm not saying that you got to run around the church, join the next day, and join that Sunday, but you want to be covered. You want to be covered. So while you're thinking about joining, come on to the church and think. Because one thing about it is that I say to you, when I'm going through some things, when I'm having problems in my life, my church is my safe haven. When I can't, God is one of those people that you ain't got to worry about your business being on a text message. You ain't got to worry about folks looking at you crazy when you go somewhere. You ain't got to worry about Twitter or Facebook. What you tell God is between you and God. And then the crazy part about it, God is going to work it out for you. He's going to work it out. So I tell you, as I was saying before, if you have not loved someone or loved your family, love your church members, love your friends, get to loving. Get to loving. Because if you look to see, even though when they were beating Jesus, even though when Jesus was on the cross, and they was doing all these things to Jesus, you know what he said? Lord, forgive them, for they know not what they doing. There's going to be people in your life that's going to mistreat you, that you're going to be like, wow. But the Bible says, listen to what Jesus even prayed for his enemies. He prayed for his enemies. So I've been on here 13 minutes, past the time I wanted to be on. But it feels so good to be bold and to do some things. My haters, I love you. My enemies, I love you. And I pray for you. Be blessed.